Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, classmates. My topic is all about interfering personal information. So, consider the quotations provided on the previous reporter in which we reassure that the ID card system will not include the various categories of informations. So, the outline how two categories of choice can be interferent from the database record. We should consider one important aspect, so-called the database society. It has been possible for the government, organizations, institutions, and the like other obtain ever-increasing amount of information in relation to the individual. So, this data has often been relatively little value. So, in short, the sheer volume of data that could be gained has provided protections. After all, how could anybody have the time or inclinations to work through the vast amount of data? Neither time or nor human resources would be made available for just a fate. In 1984, in which the telescreen in home offices unlike continually observe the behavior of party member. So this scenario would have necessitated a vast number of observers. Today, the situation is somewhat different. Tireless software can be used to search databases in the extremely flexible manner. Whereas Orwell suggested the use of human observers, spies, and the like modern technologies provide the opportunity for alternative approach in which the human needs have a little input. So this provide the opportunities of tremendous efficiency despite the vast amount of personnel that is held on the computer system. Figures show that a desire for personal privacy can be based upon the various factors of use. An individual may wish to hide behavior and respect a law, or example, wish to do so because fundamental belief that privacy is ethical or moral rights. So, automotive researches, may not simply be intended to reveal past wrongdoing, but may be used to indicate the possible future's behavior. For example, in the relations of Children Information Sharing Index, a proposed national database of children are, although the government guide says that further information known to individual practitioners should not be normally be exchanged without consent. This is very gray area. Example, the Youth Justice Board believed that the consent is not necessary when practitioners are trying to identify child who may become an offender. Many practitioners believe that information can be shared under wide legal powers such as preventing crime or improving the local area. Let's proceed to the ethical, legal, and professional issues in computing. Naturally, using the personal data to predict the likelihood of individual future actions has strong ethical and social ramifications, which has become increasingly important when we look toward the more powerful IT system which will become available in the futures. Interestingly, in the relations to the CISI project in general arts rights. Government IT projects have appealing records of failure and breakdown. If the practitioner are dependent on a database to alert them to a sign of neglect or abuse, breakdowns could place vulnerable children or ever greater risk. Similarly, families who needs a service likely to experience a serious delay in getting what they need. As far as the cost of this project is concerned, the government say that it will cost 224 M to set up the IS index and another 41 M per year to run it is. So this is a major database project, and so far all of government major IT projects have cost far more than has the predicted. The 41 M running cost appear the very optimistic. So this amount to 270 per local unit authority, bearing in mind exact staff that will needed the training cost whenever a new practitioner is given access. The system maintenance and upgrade cost is difficult to say how it will only cost 41 M per year. So, well, the additional costs have to be borne by local council. The Foundations of Information Policy Research has undertaken research in identifying the growth in children database and assessing the data protections from privacy implications. So this has led to intensive and comprehensive reports written on March 2006. Below, we briefly quote from this document. One concern is what we might call discriminations. In the past, it has been well documented that children who are black or from the poor neighborhood or traveling families suffered proponent policies attentions because of the expectations that they would be likely to offend. So the expectations could easily turn into the self-fulfilling prophecy. A system that attempts to predict which is the children will become delicate by turning up the negative indicators from health, school, and other records, runs the serious risk of recreating the same problem, especially as the information's analysis and professionals options it contains will be made available to many of the public sector's workers who come into the contact with the child. A perfectly law-abiding the youngers from the difficult home background who has perhaps struggles to overcome learning and health difficulties may find at every turn the teacher expect less and the the police the police attentions is more likely. As the causes of these discriminations are online, the youngers cannot be mitigated them simply by dressing neatly and being polite. Our third bundle of problem concerns are rather cavalier interpretations of data protections law and privacy law by a number of agencies involved in the building that the network of children's database. For example, the Gaelic precedent established that a child parent should normally be involved in the matter of consent, but exceptionally the child may exercise the consent functions to the inclusions of the parents if he or she insist on on it and has the maturity to understand the consequences. This has been routinely turned into the principle that anyone over 13 can consent to sharing sensitive personal information without the involvement of their parents. In the some circumstances, the consent is obtained pure, coercively with implied traits parents have lost and access to service. So this is our Paul. Our fourth bundle concern the actual harm that sharing can do. Government document and guidance is mostly unbalanced in what it ignores and dark side. It pays little heed to family values, therapeutic effectiveness, such as the privacy by failing to respect the user of the social care system. The rest defeating rather than the ameliorating social inclusions. There is a specific harm in distributing recent case. A 9-year-old has wrongly taken into care after social workers misunderstood the medical informations. Increasingly, the amount of poor quality data available will lead to more errors and out of context information can easily cause average staff to panic the serious consequences. To what extent the ID card and biometric technology will be successfully introduced, the questionable. Perhaps individual security and privacy will simplify depend upon whether the various IT projects are successful or failed. Certainly, at the present time, there is no foreseeable limit to us our abilities to empower computer. The key question is to what extent we wish to have these mechanics monitors imping upon and even control our everybody lives. Databases specifically for the children related data. Access the report produced by FIPR, the URL for which is given above. Spend a time reading through the report and identify what you consider to be the main ethical issues relating to the storage of child-related informations. Also consider the ramifications of attempting to use computer technologies to predict delicate behavior. Discuss your thought with others so